Armed Forces Chaplaincy Center. The Armed Forces Chaplaincy Center AFC is the center for training of United States military chaplains located at Fort Jackson, Columbia, South Carolina. Co-located on the AFC campus are the United States Army Chaplain Center and School, the United States Naval Chaplaincy School and Center, and the United States Air Force Chaplain Corps College. The center includes the Joint Center of Excellence for Religious Training and Education. Groundbreaking for the AFC took place May 6, 2008, and the official dedication of the campus occurred on May 6, 2010. History. The creation of the AFC began with the November 11, 2005 base realignment and closure BRAC mandate for U.S. military chaplains. The mandate included two imperatives. 1. Relocate to Fort Jackson in Columbia, South Carolina, the location of the U.S. Army Chaplain Center and School, the Naval Chaplains School from Newport, Rhode Island, the Religious Programs Specialist Training from Meridian, Mississippi, and the Air Force Chaplain Service Institute from Maxwell Air Force Base, Montgomery, Alabama, to establish the Joint Center of Excellence for Religious Training and Education. The decision to create the AFC included an $11.6 million construction plan for a building with 45,800 square feet, 4,250 m2 of space, including a 300-seat auditorium. Relocation Milestones. November 11, 2005 BRAC mandate. June 1, 2007 USA assumes AFC directorship. May 6, 2008 groundbreaking. July 1, 2008 AFC directorship transferred to USN. July 1, 2009 AFC directorship transferred to Usaf. January 2010 schools move into new facility. January 2010 first USN classes in new facility. Jan 6, 2010 first event in new facility. Inter-service prayer. This prayer. January-April 2010 furnishings and AV/IT installed. March 2010 first Usaf classes in new facility. May 6, 2010 AFC Air Force, Navy dedication ceremonies. Mission and leadership. The Army, Navy, and Air Force schools are co-located on the AFC campus, but their training programs for chaplains, chaplain assistants, and religious program specialists are independent, and each has its own commandant/commanding officer, faculty, and staff. There is an overall director and senior enlisted advisor who deal with common issues affecting all schools, but each of the three schools maintains its own lines of authority and responsibility with the Chief of Chaplains and training leadership for its branch of the armed forces. However, although each service school will train its chaplains, sharing the AFC campus will allow for some joint classes and lectures, especially when guest lecturers in subjects like preaching subjects that cross military service lines visit the center. Setting. The first AFC Director, Air Force Chaplain Colonel Stephen Keith, said the directors of the individual schools that will share the AFC campus worked to bring together elements with special meaning that could be shared. For example, the center's hallways have stained glass from a closed Army chapel in New Jersey and a closed Air Force chapel in Germany. To set the tone for the center, a famous image of George Washington, kneeling in prayer with his chaplain and soldiers at Valley Forge, was chosen for the front lobby. Army Chaplain Center and School. The U.S. Army Chaplain School was created in 1917 to train civilian clergy for service as chaplains in World War I. The first session began March 3, 1918, at Fort Monroe, Virginia, based on a plan developed by Chaplain M.A.J. Aldred A. Pruden, approved by the War Department on February 9, 1918. Before moving to its present location at Fort Jackson in 1996, the school has been located in areas including Camp Zachary Taylor, Kentucky, Camp Grant, Illinois, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana, Harvard University, Massachusetts, Fort Devens, Mass., Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia; Carlisle Barracks, Pennsylvania; Fort Slocum, New York, 1951–62; Fort Hamilton, N. In 1957, Army General Order No. 1-57 created the U.S. Army Chaplain Museum as a branch museum at Fort Slocum, New York, later moving along with the Chaplain Center and School to all other locations, including the current site at Fort Jackson. Naval Chaplaincy School and Center. The first Naval Chaplain School was created in February 1942 when civilian clergy, the majority of whom had no prior military experience, entered the Navy to serve during World War II. The school began at Naval Station Norfolk, Virginia, later moving to the campus of the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia, until its decommissioning November 15, 1945. With the beginning of the Korean War in 1951, the school was reestablished, located in Newport, Rhode Island as part of the Naval Schools Command. When the Naval Officer Training Center was established July 15, 1971, later becoming the Naval Officer Training Command on July 1, 1974. The school continued to operate under that center and command until the school became a separate shore activity in March 2007 under the Center for Service Support. The Chaplain School ceased activities in Newport August 21, 2009 for its move to Fort Jackson, and its name was changed on October 1, 2009 to the Naval Chaplaincy School and Center in CSC to reflect the fact that the school would no longer only train chaplains, but would now include training for religious program specialists as well. The first graduation of Navy chaplains at the AFC took place November 13, 2009. Air Force Chaplain Corps College. In July 1953, the Air Force was given the responsibility of training its own chaplains, and the United States Air Force Chaplains Course was established at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas. Under the Overall Officer Basic Military Course in 1960, the Usaf Chaplain School was officially established, remaining at Lackland AFB, where it remained under the leadership of the Air University Command Chaplain. The Usaf Chaplain Service Resource Board was formed in July 1959. It was originally named the Usaf Chaplain Writers Board, preparing lectures and identifying audiovisual resources for the Air Force Moral Leadership Program. The board's name was changed in 1976 to Usaf Chaplain Resource Board, and in January 1989 to Usaf Chaplain Service Resource Board. It is now known as the Usaf Chaplain Service Institute Resource Division. Air Force chaplain assistants began training at Carlisle Barracks, Pennsylvania in 1960 as welfare specialists, moving to Keesler Air Force Base, Mississippi in 1960. At the same time, the specialty name was changed to Chaplain Service Personnel. In 1992, training moved to Maxwell AFB, where it became part of the ERS. Photo gallery.